Hey everyone, it's me, Sarah, and welcome to a random writing vlog that I have to do because I have work. Today is the first day where all of my kids are back at school except for the baby who does not have school, but she's having her nap. So I have a job to do this month. As per my writing goals, I need to replot my project for the first quarter of this year, which is Project Bodyswap. This was my 2017 novel, which I finished last year for one of the Camp NaNoWriMos, and yeah, I'm going to work on it again this year, and desperately needs replotting. Not so much that the plot is bad, but that some stuff needs to come out, extra stuff needs to go in, and I need to get all of that sorted, touch up some world building and some character motivations before we head into the rewriting, hopefully in February. Let's go. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to apologise if the lighting seems weird. While I'm here, I'm sitting next to this window and I can't control the weather, so expect the light to go up and down, and I apologise. Project Bodyswap! Now, I haven't worked on Project Bodyswap in quite a while. I'll put a link up here where I speak about Project Bodyswap in a little bit more detail with the recent currently writing tag video that I did. And we get to replotting this thing. Now, the issue I'm having with Project Bodyswap isn't so much the plot itself. Like, it's a solid plot and it's underwritten, and maybe the pacing is a little bit too fast as it goes from point to point. Some of the scenes have been cut short where I didn't want to continue them, but got the main point of the scene down. But yeah, the main issue is the characters themselves. Not so much their arc. I feel like they sort of have their arc there. It just needs to be more in depth. It's more, they're very, very negative and very, very unlikable. And that's an issue that needs solving. It's part of their characterization. I mean, Noah and Tasha have sort of grown up in less than desirable circumstances. They have both grown up sort of bitter at their situations, but sort of doing what they can to make it work for them, even though it's sort of pushing on them a little bit. So they are both quite negative people. Tasha a little less than Noah, but the situation that they're in, where they've been forced into this magical fatal bond that they have to try and fix, it sort of has them constantly sniping at each other. And the whole premise of Project Bodyswap is supposed to be sort of like this found family, and the found family aspect doesn't really come across with the characters. They're supposed to grow to like each other and rely on each other despite their differences, and that doesn't happen. They constantly sort of hate each other, so that growth with them and their relationship doesn't quite happen, at least the way I want to. So that's something that I need to sort out. I need to make sure that I include more character moments, which I always have to do when I write because I always skip the character moments. There's a few things I need to move around with the plot. I need a couple of reveals to happen a little later than they already do, to sort of build up that tension and mystery with everything. There's a few scenes I want to include in it as well, to sort of not make the stakes more personal for the characters, because the stakes are already personal. It's find the counterspell or you're gonna die. So the stakes are there, but it needs to be something, I suppose, more personal to them that happens. Everything, I don't want to say that everything happens to them, even though it does. Their whole goal is from getting to point A to point B. That is their goal, is point B. And as they travel, stuff happens to them. They don't go looking for trouble because that's not what they want, but stuff and trouble follows them and trouble happens to them as they travel. but it happens to them because of them, sort of thing. So they're their own antagonists, as well as the world and this bond sort of being an antagonist as well. And I sort of need to revel more in the character of the story rather than the plot of the story, because it is very, very character driven story. I also need to work on the timeline as well. So the first thing I need to do, I'm trying to think of the big events that happened and sort of build around it and decide from there what I want to happen and what I want to include in the plot. So this is where I am at the moment. This is my brand new Scrivener document for Project Bodyswap, and I'm simply jotting down this is how basic I'm going at the moment, because I'm tired and I'm not bothered to do anything else. I'm literally splitting it up into Act 1, Act 2 and Act 3, and I'm writing down the main things, or the main events, the main situations, the main places we visit in each of these acts, in order for me to sort of chart on my random map where they're going, so I can work out how long everything is going to take to happen. So we'll work on the timeline first. I should say that at the beginning. We're working on the timeline. So what I'm doing is writing down everything that happens. Then I'm going to sort of think about how long it's going to take to get from Act 1 to Act 2 to Act 3. Then I need to figure out how far away each of these places are from the other to help with journeying and walking and stuff like that. So, and then obviously I can pinpoint then the main points of the novel, the main situations that happen, and then I can go deeper and figure out what happens within this as rain, what happens within Journey Begins, etc, etc. So I'm going to finish working on that now, and then we'll do something else, I suppose. Okay, so I think I sort of worked out very basically what my characters need to do and where my characters need to go. Is it timelined? Not really, because that involves research I'm not quite bothered to do, which, to be fair, I should do. Okay, here's where I am right now. I have a plumber on the way to fix my leaky tap. There's a plumber on the way. How much work can I get done in the next 10 minutes? We'll see. Here's where I'm at. We are finished writing down, I suppose, the main points of Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, being very, very basic about it. And obviously this might be subject to change as I further delve into the plot itself. But I have where we're going on the map. I'm guesstimating the rough timeline is going to be about 2 weeks, because they're walking everywhere, taking their breaks, blah blah blah. So I'm aiming for 2 weeks. Once I get to the in-depth, how far everything is away from each other, I can sort of tweak the time I need and how many days I need it to go on, so I can sort of get my timeline ready for there. I have sort of figured out a very basic plot structure, clear plot structure. Oh look, I've gone dark. So I'm going to be using a mix of Dan Harmon's story circle and K.M. Wayland's 3-act method in order to do the plotting. Dan Harmon's story circle, just to make sure that sort of everything that needs to happen is happening in the right place via character arc growth, and found family reasons and K.M. Wayland's 3-act method, just to put all of the important events into the correct places as per the 3 acts. I don't usually mix and match story structures like that before, but there's 2 different levels that I need to get this replotting correct on, the characters and the actual plot itself, so it's in the right order at least. So I think that's the best way for me to sort of figure out where everything needs to go, is to do it in those 2 terms. So we're going to start with Dan Harmon's story circle, and then we're going to go into K.M. Wayland's 3-act method, and we'll see where we go from there. So this is what I've got at the moment. So this is Dan Harmon's story circle. It's not a circle, obviously, but this is sort of breaking down the main points of each section. And then what I'm going to do in my bullet journal is here I'm going to write down all of the events that will happen in each of these different sections as they go. Once I've plotted it out, that's my Gemini washi tape because I am a Gemini. This is my revisions check to-do list, and then I will put down the chapters on this side once I've figured out what chapters, how many chapters I have, and then as I write I'll obviously tick off on that side what ones I've done. So I've sort of done a map. I need to work out the cities and where the cities are and the history. A very quick history. The magic system, I need to rework the magic system as well, which is something I will do at a later date. And then what I need to do for the characters as well to sort of make everything work. I abandoned my laptop. Here is my notebook. K.M. Welland's 3-act method. I needed the detail in there and I've sort of got it. So we have all of the main points here, which are now all set up in sort of an order that I want them to happen in. All of these bits here where I've got the lines, extra stuff needs to happen within reaction, within realization. More specific things than what I've got written down in order to sort of flesh out and pad out those areas. They're most likely going to be journeying bits, characterization bits, set up for the main point of that section itself. But we are pretty much here with what I need to do. Finally. Okay, it is 1:30. I need to leave the house in half an hour in order to go pick up husband, do some errands, do the school run, come home, get ready for work, go to work. So this is all the time I have today to do work. Those measly 3 little hours. But we got a lot done in that time. I think I'll call it a lot. I don't think it was actually that much, but I can't really tell anymore. So we have done our basic, I don't even know what I'm doing. This whole thing is a mess today, guys. I have no idea. We have our 3-act method, and I have all of the places I need to input more pieces, etc, etc. And the next thing I'm going to need to do, which is going to have to be another day, I don't have time to do it today, is to start putting these into, oh my god, is start putting these into chapters and doing a chapter by chapter outline, I guess it would be, and sorting all of that out. So we've done good. See, I don't actually have a lot of time really during the day to get much stuff done at all because I'm working around all of the children, but a little bit of progress every day is good. So I'm going to make myself some more tea and sort of relax for the next half an hour, so I'm not working more or less the entire day, and I will see you in another video. Good thoughts and happy writing.